What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm reviewing a sneaker that I'm pretty excited about, and that's the Nike AirMax 270 React. On AirMax Day 2018, Nike decided to give us the AirMax 270 cushion, which was a pretty big deal because it was the first cushion that they designed that was only designed for lifestyle wear. Then later that year, even though React cushioning was first introduced in 2017, React became one of Nike's most popular cushioning foams. And now in mid-2019, Nike has combined both of those technologies in the AirMax 270 React. And it should be a match made in heaven. But is it? Let's find out. This is the first men's colorway of the AirMax 270 React, and it's called the Bauhaus colorway because it's inspired by the Bauhaus design school. I've realized that I've called these the AirMax 720s like 4 times since starting to film, so if I accidentally do that, my bad. Just know that I mean the AirMax 270 React because an AirMax 720 React just doesn't exist. But that being said, the AirMax 270 React in this Bauhaus colorway is one of my most anticipated releases of the summer, and the reason is because I think it looks incredible. I've always been a fan of colorful, chunky dad shoes. I love the Puma Thunder Spectra. I love the Yeezy 700 in the Wave Runner colorway. And this is just another chunky dad shoe with an insane colorway that for some reason works really well in the silhouette. So with that said, let's jump right into the sneaker. Starting off around the edge of the toe, you've got this really thin black felt feeling material. And a lot of the panels in the upper of the shoe are made up of the same sort of material. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's very thin. It has a sort of synthetic suede feel to it, or in my opinion, it feels like felt. And I feel like the reason they used this material on the upper is because they were able to create a lot of different layers without making the upper seem even more bulky than it already is. That might not be the case. They might have just used it because it's a cheaper material, and to be honest, it does kind of feel cheap, but when you look at the shoe from a distance, you can't really tell, and I think it looks fine. Beneath this black layer, you've got this material, which I believe is the base layer of the entire upper of the shoe, and it has this sort of nylon, almost papery feel to it. Again, it feels kind of cheap, but it doesn't feel terrible. I just don't love it. There's not many shoes that I can think of that actually use this material on the upper, and that's why it's so hard for me to describe what it is, because I don't think I've ever reviewed a shoe with this material on it before. Because it almost has this sort of papery feel, I don't know how badly the shoe is going to crease. Maybe it's like super crease resistant, I have no idea, but it's just something to keep in mind when you grab the shoe. In my opinion, I would have much preferred it if they had used mesh, because mesh would be a lot more breathable, and I don't think it would crease the way that this material looks like it's going to crease. Continuing back on the shoe, you've got more of this felt feeling material in bright red with yellow contrasting stitching. Popping through this red felt material, you've also got these black lace loops that hold the white rope laces in place. Beneath the rope laces, you've got a somewhat well-padded tongue with the AirMax 270 React branding stitched into the top of it. Moving inside the shoe, you've got this bright blue sock liner that has a little bit of padding around the ankle, and even though it is minimal, it is still pretty comfortable on foot. Then rounding off the inside of the shoe, you've got 2 different colored insoles. One comes in yellow and one comes in green. As for fit, the AirMax 270 React does seem to fit true to size. It fit me fine with no problems at all. I went true to size, obviously, and Nike does seem to usually get their sizing right, so I usually go true to size with Nike shoes. Continuing back on the shoe, you've got some more bright colors in the midfoot, you've got some teal paneling towards the forefoot of the shoe, and also a yellow Nike swoosh. Just beneath that, you've got some white reinforcement material on the midfoot, which is very subtle, but I think actually really adds to the design of the shoe. And then moving around to the heel of the shoe, you've got some more teal paneling, a vertical Nike swoosh in black, and a white pull tab. Moving down on the shoe, you get to the namesake of the sneaker, the React and 270 cushioning. Nike seems to be adding React to a lot of their sneakers now, like we just had the Nike React Prestos, which actually are very comfortable on foot, and I've got to say, React is probably one of my favorite cushions on the market, maybe even more so than Boost, and I know that's crazy to say, but it's just been more consistent for me. Nike gave us a generous amount of React in the forefoot, which is very soft underfoot, and then you also have a little bit of React on top of the 270 Air unit. Although the 270 Air unit remains relatively unchanged from previous 270 sneakers, it does feel kind of weird with the React layer on top of it. The React is so much softer than the 270. It's like weirdly softer. So the whole front of the shoe just feels like a nice cushiony, soft pillow. And then in the heel of the shoe, you get a little bit more of that marshmallowy feel with the React cushioning. But then just beneath that, when you push down a little bit harder, you feel like you're on top of a a slightly harder surface. It's a really weird feeling because 270 is usually pretty soft underfoot. In order to activate the 270 air unit, you really have to compress it, which means you really have to put a lot of weight on your heel. And if you're not putting a huge amount of weight on your heel, it just feels like you're standing on a kind of hard surface, much harder than the front of the shoe, and it's a really weird sensation underfoot. I'm not saying it's a bad feeling, it's just weird and it's something you kind of have to get used to. However, aesthetically, I absolutely love the way this looks. I love the super glossy blue air unit contrasting the white, very matte midsole. I think that's an awesome look. And the blue of the air unit ties in really nicely with the sock liner and really gives the shoe a very unique look. I would never wear this shoe for any kind of sports, I would never run in this shoe, but for lifestyle wear, even though the feel is different underfoot, it's not unbearable and it's still pretty comfortable. I also wonder what would happen if they removed the React from above the 270 air unit so you could activate this air unit more easily. That might make the shoe feel more standard, but I don't know. And then, rounding off the bottom of the shoe, you've got a black rubber outsole that seems to combine the bottom of an Element React with the bottom of an AirMax 270. And honestly, kind of mashes together pretty nicely. I absolutely love the Bauhaus colorway of the AirMax 270 React, and I actually think the women's version of this shoe might even look a little bit better. For 150 bucks, I think you are getting a pretty solid sneaker. However, after having one, I don't feel like I need any more pairs. I also feel like the upper of the shoe is a little bit cheap, and I think one of the reasons they might have done that is because they spent so much money on the cushioning technology in this shoe and had to cut costs somewhere, and maybe that's why they went with this super thin felt feeling material. Maybe it's a really premium material and I'm just stupid and I don't know what it is, but that's what it feels like to me, and that's just something to keep in mind when you're buying the shoe. Overall, great looking shoe, great looking colorway. 150 bucks is not cheap, but it's not too expensive. Overall feeling of the comfort of this shoe, I could take it or leave it. But I would love to know your thoughts on the AirMax 270 React and whether you grabbed a pair for yourself or whether you're planning to grab a pair when it releases in different colorways, so make sure to leave those comments in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.